This is Craig Lewis with Hollywood Junket, and we are back with our fifth interview of the day. It has been so much fun talking to the current and past voice contestants, and our fifth and final one today is going to be with Nelson Cade from Team Legend. So I'm a little late. Hopefully he's still there and wants to join in just a second, but thank you so much if you've been watching these today. We really appreciate it. This is obviously like an all-new process for all of us, and it's been a lot of fun actually getting to talk to everyone face-to-face via Instagram, because it feels like it's been more personal. And Nelson has joined, so let me just bring him in. It usually takes a second. And it looks like we got him right here. Awesome.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I hope you're doing okay over there.
I'm doing well. Everybody's just inside and trying to beat the heat and the virus, so we're doing okay.
Oh my goodness, it is getting hotter too. Yikes.
Yep, that's California for you.
You're right, yes. So, first off, I guess we'll just jump right into like your experiences with The Voice and what has been the most mind-blowing, most memorable experience you've had so far.
Man, it's interesting because you know what? The experience is a little more counterintuitive than a lot of people might think. One of the most mind-blowing experiences, I have to say, working with John Legend and John Taylor was not something that I think anybody saw coming. So that's something that I'm gonna have for the rest of my life, and I'm so grateful for that. But I don't know, it's just being in the room with these guys is insane. Their style of coaching is something that I really resonate with. They're really hands-on. They're really insightful men, and it's, the things that I learned, not all of our meetings were, something that was on TV. So it's like the things that I learned from them were, they were great. They're things that I'm using right now because, there's so much time to just write. And it's funny, like I was writing like last night and I'm thinking to myself, how would John Legend hit this one thing? And then I start thinking about the times we were talking. I'm like, oh, that's so crazy. I can't even say that. But yeah, no, it's been a blessing. There's just so much to be happy about.
Yeah, definitely. What an experience. And you mentioned James, and I just think that's crazy. And a lot of other contestants have mentioned that being one of their most memorable moments. And like he probably gave you advice that you will hear in your head for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Just incredible. So cool. So you were in the 4-way knockout. Tell us the stress of it all, like what were your thoughts going into it, and also when did y'all shoot that?
So that was something that wasn't filmed. It's interesting. I don't think I could give you a date.
Right.
But that was filmed back when the rest of the knockouts were. That was all the same time. Mm-hmm. So that was like the last pre-recorded thing. Everything now is going to be live, and it's going to be really interesting.
Right. Yeah, I definitely don't need an exact date, and I'm sorry if I made it seem that way, but that was definitely when everything was normal, which was 5 weeks ago, and so I can't imagine waiting that long to find out what's going to happen. What are your thoughts right now?
I will say this, the waiting was the worst part. Oh my God, it is so frustrating to know that you're just in limbo, and then that's it. No one else knows what happens. And, it's hard to explain to friends and family, like, hey, so did you make it? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm with everybody else. There's no way to know. And the cool thing is that the other people in the 4-way knockout, we all have our group chats and everything. And it's nice to know that everybody's friends. We're all friendly. We all still want to work together. We're all so grateful to have had this opportunity in the first place. We were all looking at the roads to live shows, and we're just like, hey, check it. Like, it's so cool because you spend all this time with them, and then you see what gets aired, and you're like, I didn't know that about them. And then it's like we're meeting them again, and it's kind of weird. Like, I thought that I knew these people, and then I thought that they knew me, and then boom, all of a sudden, something gets put on. They're like, wait, what? Your first album was Chopin? And I was like, I'm the classical guy. It's good stuff, but it has been nerve-wracking. It's one of those things where you kind of just have to put it aside and focus on anything else, or else it'll just take over your mind.
Well, and I imagine you're still preparing for lives, right? Yep. Has John like contacted you, and have y'all been training like while at home?
So, how can I put this? All the preparations are happening. There's a lot of workarounds that are going on because, we can't do the show the way that was originally intended. I will say this, the workarounds are impressive, very much so, and I think that everybody's going to be really happy with the show that gets put on.
Yeah.
We've all been working. I was watching these interviews earlier, and the way that Cedric put it, I think, was flawless. Like, we don't really know what's ahead. You just kind of have to stay ready all the time, and it's a lot to adapt to. It's a lot of new skills that we have to put to the test. But at the end of the day, in this industry, I think it's a great thing that we need to learn at this level, because I'm pretty sure I speak for every contestant with, this is not the end of our journey, regardless of where we fall off of the show. Everybody's going to continue to go into music and some kind of entertainment or production or what have you. And so stuff like this, being able to adapt to a situation like this, it's amazing practice. I don't think any of us have ever had to deal with something like this, especially in the middle of something like this.
Yeah.
It's really intense, but yeah, there's been some things going on in the background.
Good. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm excited to see how they're going to pursue it and change it up. It's going to be exciting. So
it's been a fun journey on our end too. I mean,
good.
We've had to do a lot of things. Like, okay, I'll tell you this much. Since we can't have an entire production team in our house because that would be illegal, we have to do all the production stuff. We have to do all the things that we had all these teams of professionals doing for us are now on our shoulders. So, I'm sure that some people are less than thrilled about that. That makes sense. It's extra work. But, there's a lot of, it's not just me. A lot of the contestants are like, whoa, I get to learn how to do lighting versus, production stuff. I get to learn things about, like, holding a camera a certain way. It's like all of a sudden we have to pay attention to a lot of things that aren't just literally music and singing and training. And it's not like we can let that slide. I still have to do my warm-ups too and everything. But it's, I treasure being able to learn all of these skills. One, it makes me appreciate how much goes into the whole production as a whole anyways. And, I like that because I never want to be the person that overlooks all the different parts of the assembly train. You know what I mean? So it's nice. It's nice being able to do all that stuff. You just become well-versed.
At the end of this group of contestants might be the most experienced group to leave The Voice after 18 seasons. Y'all are learning everything this year.
Seriously, every little thing. We have to, there's no one else who can do it for us. If something goes wrong, we're the only team to troubleshoot it. No one else is on site. We have to be able to see that something is wrong, figure it out quickly, have some kind of on-screen, it's interesting, but it's, I love having this experience, It's their team, by the way, behind the scenes is absolutely amazing. If at any step of the way we feel overwhelmed or we're confused or we have a question, I don't even have a number for how many people I could contact that would give me an answer right away. It's very wholesome. It's very supportive. It's really user friendly. And at the end of the day, I love how the contestants treat, each other. And I love how the crew and the production team and everybody treats each other. It's a really nice situation. They've made the best out of all of this craziness.
Yeah. I love it. So I have a kind of random question. What advice would you give to someone that wants to pursue music full time?
Oh God, I love these questions. Okay. So I've had this conversation a lot, and every time I think about this, I think about what I wish somebody would have told me. If somebody wants to pursue music full time, the first thing that I would want to get from them is, I want to get that "are you sure" kind of a thing. Because if you really want to pursue music full time, I want to know, well, do you want to be rich and famous, or do you want to be playing music? There's a difference. One may or may not entail the other. So if you want to do music full time, start. It's that simple. There's nothing stopping you. If you don't know how to play an instrument, do you want to learn how to play an instrument? Learn one. You don't have to have a teacher. Teachers are very helpful and they're nice. They make things faster, but you can teach yourself anything. It's never too late to start. It's never too early to start. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. If you practice the same thing incorrectly, you're going to get really good at playing it incorrectly. And I wish I would have learned that early on. That's something I didn't learn until college days, but ever since then, I got better faster. And one of the biggest things that I could tell somebody who wants to do it, professionally full time, because I dealt with this, was kind of a crossroads in my life. Are you the kind of person who, let's say, you're just playing your guitar and you're singing, and no one's really listening to you, you're not making any money, are you the kind of person who would pack it up and do something else? Or would you continue to just play for no money because you like playing? I remember that wasn't a question that I asked. That was a moment in my life where I remember I was just playing, and nobody's really paying attention. I'm not making any money, and it wouldn't really get to me because I would just be caught up in what I'm playing, and it's a great moment, and it's what I love to do. And then all of a sudden money starts, and it didn't start big, it trickles in. Maybe somebody throws in a 1, and then eventually people start throwing in 5s and 10s and then 20s. And if you have that original love for music, by the time it becomes fruitful, all the foundations are already in place. That's imperative. That's so important. If you get thrust into an already existing platform and you don't have that foundation, that's how you get stuck in those get-rich-quick schemes, or all of the stuff is in the way and you're like, I don't know if I really want to do this. I kind of had a lot of moments where I needed to prove to myself that regardless of all the details, I just want to be somewhere with an instrument in my hands, playing something, singing something. And if anybody else feels the same way, this is exactly what you need to do.
That's so great. That's awesome. I hope y'all were taking notes during that. That was great.
That's one of my things. Like, I love going to like my old schools and whatnot, elementary schools, and because kids ask that all the time, and I can't tell you how much I love it when I see like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, the first graders, and they're like, can I play an instrument? I'm like, well, I don't know. Do you know how to play? And they're like, no, but I want to learn. And I'm like, then start.
That's it. Yeah.
It blows their minds when somebody tells them you can just start now. Everybody thinks that you have to have all this stuff in place, and it's like, okay. You can just start singing. You don't have to sound great. I didn't. You don't have to sound great when you start.
I think anyone does.
Right, and so many people don't get that. Like, you're going to sound, well, I'm not going to say you're going to sound awful, but it's just, as you continue with it, as you continue mastering your craft, you get better, regardless of where you start. But if you start now, you'll be better sooner.
Yeah. Well, Nelson, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your candidness and your honesty, and that I love that. And I've seen it on television. It's nice to see it in person, right, face to face. So I thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I've enjoyed this. This is really cool. By the way, I got to give you props on that Etch-a-Sketch in the background. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Those are so much fun.
It barely works. Like, if you try it, it just barely. But
it's all faded.
Got my Talk Boy. I keep all my old school toys right there, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. That's like one of my first toys too. I loved my Etch-a-Sketch. I couldn't draw anything, but I still loved that.
Oh, it's awful. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Well, Nelson, good luck on Monday. I hope you make it through. I hope to see you more on the lives. And hopefully we'll actually get to talk to you soon. Maybe we'll get everyone back on interviews like during the finale week and all that. But I hope to talk to you again.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, then. Bye.
Right. Guys, that wraps it up for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. All of our interviews that we did today are now on our story for 24 hours. And then after that, we will record them and put them on our YouTube channel at Hollywood Junket. But my name is Craig Reese. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.